Here we go again. Subscribe, all the platforms. We're everywhere. Hallelujah.
Moving on.
Moving on. What do you got today?
What do you think the top 5 workouts were for last year, 2024?
Top 5 workout, like
Like
exercises?
workout styles, yeah.
Oh, well, what do you mean styles?
Like CrossFit, strength training, yoga, Pilates, running.
For you individually,
No, they did a study.
sitting on the couch
Yeah.
with that pedal thing.
Yeah. Running's got to be on there. Do we have to name them 1 through 5?
Yeah.
Because you just give 4 of them. Running, I would say number 1.
Okay.
I would say number 2 would be like a hit style or like a station.
Yeah. Is group fitness one of them?
Well, okay, so let me maybe
Or is that
clarify
not a
more. So
style?
like group fitness, but break it down to like the specifics.
Like a boot camp.
Like it has to be like a specific kind of group fitness class.
Cycling's probably up there. Cycling, hit, running. CrossFit's probably up there still.
Yeah. And the people not knowing what they're doing in the gym.
That's not on the list.
Yeah. That would be number 1.
Yeah.
By far. Do we have 4 of the 5?
No.
Oh.
You want me to tell you?
Wait, give us a hint.
Okay, so number 1, all of them are either classes or can be classes besides one.
So yeah, it's got to be cycling.
That's one of them. That's 4.
Hit. No.
Boot camp.
CrossFit.
Zumba.
Really? Oh, Zumba.
You're thinking more in the lane, but no. So far, you only have cycling, and that's the 4th most popular.
Cycling. What do people do in groups?
Oh, Pilates.
Pilates is number 1.
Yoga.
Really?
Number 2.
Pilates, yoga, cycling. There's 2 more. You said one of them. So is it just like weight training?
Strength training is 3.
Strength training.
I don't think you're going to get
broad, though.
the 5th
Yeah.
one. You're not going to get. It's bar.
Oh, wow.
So it's like
Ballet.
kind of, yeah. But then like you do like ankle weights and whatever. So it's Pilates number 1, yoga number 2, strength training number 3, which I think is also, that's so broad.
Yeah.
Like, is that CrossFit? Like, what is the most popular in strength training? Then cycling for 4, and then bar for the 5th.
And I think
most popular.
primarily the ones that are on there are women's.
Because you probably could get 90% of the guys in the strength training.
Right.
Yeah.
Probably not going to do a lot of Pilates. I mean, I'm sure you have some, but yes, majority. Yoga, you're probably not going to have many. Cycling, I bet some guys do cycling classes. I probably had 50-50 when I taught cycling.
I think the time I was, or the couple times I was there, it was like me and one other guy.
Yeah. But I think the strength training probably covers majority of the stuff. But I mean, it holds true. Like, people like classes.
Yeah.
People like the community of it. People
Community.
like them going in and telling them what to do. They will pay for that.
I have to be there at a certain time.
Yep.
I know
Yeah.
it's over at an hour later.
And I think the consistency, like Abby has talked about that with her classes, like people like knowing I'm going to come in and it's going to feel like this. I'm going to get this workout versus when you're on your own. It's like, oh yeah, that was a good workout. Today was kind of, I didn't really like it because maybe you're programming it yourself or you're trying something new and you're like, well, I went in, but I didn't really like the workout that I did. So it kind of feels like a waste. To where these, you're trusting someone else. And maybe there's a mental thing with that too of, well, they must know more than me. So I'm definitely getting something out of this that you just put it in their hands. But you go and go, I'm going to get this style of workout. So I'm going to feel accomplished every single time that I do it.
I think that's the big thing is how, like we just said, how many people walk into a gym and just like, I don't know where to start. I don't
Yep.
know what to do. So then they go to something where it's like, oh, I'll just go to the leg press thing and just do that for 20 times. And
Yep.
because I'm looking around to see what other people are doing.
People don't generally push themselves either, so I bet like the teachers in the class running something, they will then have to push themselves rather than if you go into the gym, you're like, I'm just going to do these couple machines and head out. Or when you're in a cycling class and it's like, oh shit,
Everyone's
now I got to
doing it.
do. Yeah. Yeah. And you have the group pressure and all that kind of stuff.
I think gyms can be intimidating for new people in general.
Oh yeah.
So if you're walking into a class, you maybe start it with a friend, a girlfriend.
Yeah.
And that's somebody that, and even if they don't keep going, at least now you start meeting people there that are, you know, in the same boat as you are.
Yeah.
And
Or it's like there's an agenda. You're walking in and someone's hosting the class. To where if you're on your own, you're kind of just like walking around by yourself.
Yeah.
right.
To where this is like we're all facing one way, we're doing the same action.
They're telling
Someone
me how to
else.
do it.
Yes.
So I'm not going there looking stupid, thinking I'm doing it wrong.
Yes. And because everyone's doing it together. So it's like no one's really looking at you because they're all trying to just
They're
like
all
focus
watching the
on what the
instructor.
teacher is doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. It's not confusing to me that these are the top ones.
No. Yeah. It hits a lot of the markers.
I'm surprised yoga was that high,
Yoga's big.
but I'm
Yeah.
just surprised that that many people.
They were probably
know.
one of the first like group class types of things.
Aerobics. Like
Yeah.
remember my mom doing aerobics classes.
I just mean one of.
Oh,
But yeah, you're probably right. Like
I
that
bet
is
you
probably
yoga
more-
is one of the, yoga didn't go mainstream
to that one guy, right?
15 years ago.
Who was that guy that
Really?
got in trouble?
The guy that got in trouble.
They had a
the weird
documentary on him.
guy. I don't remember his name.
Gilad.
No,
Vikram. Vikram.
Vikram.
That's
Yoga.
the
Guy from
telemarketer
Office.
from The Office.
Yeah, my guess would be yoga was earlier. I mean, it's definitely earlier than the boot camp, the cycling.
Bikram.
Bikram.
Bikram. Vikram is Office.
I don't know. Zumba used to be popular when you were what, grade school?
Yeah, I mean yoga's like an ancient practice.
Yeah, but I'm talking mainstream.
Yeah.
Like yoga studios. Is that what they call them? Or they call them like,
I think so. Yoga studio.
because now there's like hot yoga, there's goat yoga, there's puppy yoga.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not workouts now. It's a fucking petting zoo.
Right.
Having founded the Yoga Institute in 1918, the oldest organized yoga center in the world, came to the U.S. for the first time in 1919.
And it was what?
The first yoga
Primarily-
studio was opened in 1947 in West Hollywood.
And what's the,
Go figure, West Hollywood.
where did yoga originate? Is it like an Asian,
I don't know.
India.
India?
India.
The word yoga is first mentioned in the Rig Veda, one of the 4 sacred texts of Hinduism.
Oh yeah, the Rig Veda.
Yeah. I read that book.
Originated in northern India over 5,000 years ago. Yeah, I feel like it's like a
I feel like it's
It's
kind of
old.
like a Tai Chi type thing.
yeah, like it's
That's
a
why I was thinking more.
Asian culture type.
Yeah,
but maybe they have Tai Chi, so yoga is
their spinoff.
ancient roots. Yeah, mentioned in so yeah, it's like a part of their almost religion, kind of,
See, I'd be curious. Like,
kind of like yeah,
I get the pole, but yeah, the strength training.
that's cool.
I wonder how they pulled that. Because, yeah, strength training's so broad. And then now you go into the gyms, like, most people are doing resistance training stuff. There's
I bet
still
I know what they
some,
did is
but-
I bet they went to LA Fitness and said some big or like a
Big box
Gold's
gym?
gym somewhere that offers these things says like what's popular this year. They're like, oh, our statistics show that we had 30 people per class in hot yoga or whatever it is, and you know,
Yeah.
because the gym membership people or the people that show up to go strength train aren't signing into a class.
Well, and the strength training people aren't answering polls.
Look at how many people that strength train.
The yoga people want you to know they're doing yoga. The
Yeah,
Pilates
maybe they're
people
going off
want you to
Facebook.
know.
Well,
The
yeah, you
cycling
wonder
people
in like
want
a
you to know.
regular gym, how much traffic do they get in a regular big box gym compared to how many people are coming into a Pilates class or a yoga class?
Right.
I wonder if you get more people in those classes than you would cycling through a gym.
Well, if you have a Pilates studio, how many classes are you offering a day?
Yeah, and then how many slots? Yeah.
And look at like Orange Theory. Isn't that all cycling?
No,
No.
That's what's what I'm thinking of. The cycling one.
Peloton.
Peloton.
No, it's like a big box gym.
Soul
Oh.
Cycle.
Soul Cycle, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder what the most popular strength training one is. I think CrossFit is kind of come and go
I don't know.
compared to just like regular.
I think it hit a popularity peak probably.
Yeah,
It's
everybody
probably-
started getting hurt, so they stopped doing it.
It's probably dwindled, but I'm sure it's still
A lot of older
popular.
people do CrossFit.
Yeah.
Because you go at your own pace. Again, all I have to go in is look at the board, see what I have to do for the day. I don't have to think about anything.
But then you're still around people that are all kind of like, I think the idea that I like about CrossFit is it's still people pushing themselves. Like that atmosphere kind of promotes, at least it promotes exercises where it's harder to
take it easy.
take it easy. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like, you got to get the bar off the ground.
Yeah.
You have to do this movement that's like,
Over and over and over.
yeah.
again.
It's like, even if you're not stacking weights on the bar, how many people are still just using the bar and doing a clean? Like that's still nice for most people or impressive for most people.
There's a competitive scene for it too that
Yeah.
I bet that just in general keeps the popularity somewhat. You can go compete and do stuff. It's like that, Ironmans and Tough Mudders and stuff like that. You get a competitive. You could find a competitive yoga thing. I'm sure it would keep some sort of popularity. It wouldn't just die.
Well, that's what we talked about on 2 episodes ago, where like because of the AI scene, virtual fitness is becoming more of a thing. To where I don't know if you listen. I don't think you've listened to that episode yet, but they're trying to come out with something where it's kind of like Topgolf, where they have games connected.
Oh, I've seen those, yes.
To where you track your weights and your like all your volume, and then that will give you points in the game.
While you're wearing a...
No, like
that's VR.
it's more like kind of like how Topgolf is, where you have your station or you have your bay that you're playing out of. You would go into a bay where it would have maybe a squat machine and have dumbbells or whatever you needed for that workout, and then you like track it on the computer of, okay, well, you need to do your squats at this much percentage to be able to play to the next level or something.
I wonder if that's like one of those tonal things. Like those wall-mounted things where it's all just cables.
Yeah. I bet those, if they don't already, they'll probably start putting games and stuff in them.
Or like the mirrors
Yeah.
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 where like
Yeah.
you can see someone working out.
Peloton will
have the thing.
probably do it.
Peloton, I'm sure, already has something like that.
They
Because
do.
you have to where you can see who else is Pelotoning.
And they
At
have
that
weights
time?
on the back of behind the seat,
Yeah.
little hand weights.
That I bet the game.
I know those tonal things have those. They have a screen on them.
They have a screen. I don't know about the games in it though.
No, but it's like the Peloton where you're in a group session.
Yeah. Yeah, the game thing. We'll see. I don't like it, but
Yeah, I don't either. I think it spins fitness again. Like I think our culture, we need so much stimulus. It's like just work out. How many times do you see someone in a gym working out with no headphones? Like that you could just
Old people.
focus on, people that are used to. It's like when we were at Grandpa and Grandma's, and we set up their living room to where now my grandpa could sit at the table, be on his computer, and watch the TV, and they thought that was crazy. They're like, he can't do both at the same time. It's like, how many of
why would you have the TV on if you're on the computer?
right? Like they're like, that's stupid. What are you talking about? To where most of us, we are on the computer watching something on the TV and having our phone, and like that is our baseline stimulus. To where old people in the gym, they're like, I'm working out. That's the activity
you
that we're
talk
doing.
about headphones in the gym though, and I know you guys don't wear headphones in the gym, but
if I was alone, I would.
during sets though, I don't even pay attention to the music. I don't know what's on because I'm counting reps, I'm counting my
Yeah.
tempo.
But it's the in-betweens that
It's
you
in
give your
between, yes.
brain something to do versus just sitting there, focus on your breathing, thinking about how your body is feeling. Which I would be the same when we are on the weekends and I'm working out by myself most of the time. I'll put a podcast on because I do feel like
slam on Chaney.
I do feel like,
What?
well, because when I'm by myself, like if we're working out because our schedules are different on the weekends, that's the only time that we're not working out together, that I will put a podcast on. I can work out with nothing. Like I'm
It
not
drives
like
me nuts.
freaking out.
I
but-
hate hearing other people grunting and breathing
Oh,
and
sure.
people's conversations
Sure.
and just hearing the gym music that's typically terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
That irritates. Like if my headphones die during a workout, I'm going home.
Yeah.
That does bother me in our gym when they do have music on. I would rather have no music than music that I don't like. Music that I don't like, having to listen to it irritates me. But I think going to the gamification of working out, I think I like it because it will get, the overall is it will get people into fitness more because there's a game involved. So I think that is cool. I don't think it'll last because we're so quick to needing new innovative stimulus, I guess. That's like, it's like the Wii when they added that to make it more fitness. Like, well, once you play the games, you play the games. So unless they're rolling out new games on these things.
Here's the thing though, and I don't know why this would benefit a gym, but do you stay longer at the gym because you're engaged in something other than working out? Or you're engaged trying to get a better score or whatever the game may be. But if you're a gym, you don't care if they're staying for 15 minutes or half hour. You'd probably prefer they stay for 15 minutes so it's not so crowded. So I don't understand that from a gym perspective, but if you're maybe one of the home workout things.
I wonder
Yeah.
if for the gym thing, if you have that service, it will bring more people in.
You have to charge more probably.
Yeah, just like they charge extra for group classes.
Or like Topgolf. You're paying for the games. You're not paying to go hit, like you can go to a driving range and pay
Originally,
half.
that was my plan when it's Top Golf was I'm just going to hit the driving range to see where my shots go, the shot tracker. I
Yeah.
didn't know they had all these cool games there.
Yeah.
But I think to your point, what you said in the last time we talked about this was it doesn't promote, which I don't know. I don't know how you could track that. It's like you're not going to be promoting like good form and good quality programming. It's just like how
No.
much weight can you put up because that will give me more points.
Or reps.
Yeah, like you're just going for volume, which isn't always the smartest approach depending on what you're going for. But
I think you might have more people that get into fitness a little bit more because of the games, but my view of it is the overall goal is to become healthier. The games aren't going to do that. Having games introduced into exercising is not going to make people healthier or get people healthier. We're going to have the same problems.
But if it keeps them coming back.
But it keeps them coming back, but they're not getting healthier. Because people are just going to figure out a way to hack the game or do, I mean, people go do Soul Cycle all the time. It's not like they're getting healthier and getting better.
Yeah, I don't know if I was telling you guys this or not, but since I've been at any time now, I'm going to my 3rd year. I see the same people in these group fitness classes in the evenings that they come 3 times a week, whatever it is, and they look exactly the same as they did.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
That's what I think the games thing is. Like, I bet it's going to be more of a, it's the same as always. Like, it's a money thing. Whether it's the gyms or the at-home things are going to be able to charge more, make more money off of it. Some software whatever software that's making the games and selling them is going to make more money. But overall, my guess would be people are not going to get more in shape because of the games.
Or it's catchy just to sell more memberships, knowing a month later people aren't going to show up.
Yeah. Well, it's like, look at the gym that you were looking at here that has the golf thing. How many people are going and paying for the golf thing to get the free gym membership, but probably will never use the gym.
Right.
They'll only go do their golf thing, or they'll even stop doing the golf thing after a while because the games are boring now or whatever it might be.
I think that simulator, though, you can actually play courses. So, like, you'll run through your whole range of clubs in your bag. I don't know
Oh.
how they do putting, but
Oh yeah.
I think
Yeah.
the things like the tonal or the mirrors or what used to be like a long time ago where you could do like a bunch of things.
Yeah, one
In one
machine has a
machine?
bunch of
Bowflex.
Yeah. Yeah. I think whoever markets for these companies, like whoever came up with this idea understands human behavior really well, which is why they do well. I think people want to pay for it. Like they like, so the tonal, you have to have a membership to do it. And like say with the group classes, I think it's like going out to the bar. Even if you you bring your own drink or you could bring your own coffee everywhere you go, there's just something about buying it that we like.
You're part of the thing that's going on there.
Yes.
But I think it's even just like going and getting coffee. I like purchasing the coffee. I like buying the thing. That I think people like going and getting charged for something or having to pay for the thing versus, I mean, it's so much, there's so many more layers because it's just education and you want to be held accountable and they want to be able to use all of the things to where it's going to be way cheaper to just get 4 kettlebells and you can still do it at home. You can hit, like, it's more effective, but you're not paying for it continually. So I think there's something about I'm paying for it, I'm doing something.
How many parks have fitness equipment, that monkey bars or pull-up bars? How many times do you see people working out at those places?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like you can have a set of bands at home, but because you don't have to initiate it with a charge, it doesn't seem as effective. I think because you're paying for it, you trick your mind into thinking I'm doing something.
Or I have to do it because I'm paying for it.
Or that, yeah. But
Yeah.
I wonder, like with the say like the tonal membership, how many people just pay for it but they don't use it? Or Peloton, same thing.
That's
It's like,
where these
well,
companies
I'm
make
doing
their
something
money.
because I paid for it.
Yeah, that's where these companies, they don't make money off you using it till it breaks.
Yeah.
Sure.
They
Yeah.
make money off you buying it and then using it for a clothes rack for the
Yeah.
next 6 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the membership thing. Gyms. They
Right.
plan on you not showing up. So I wonder if people psychologically, they go, well, I'm paying for the gym membership monthly. They don't realize how much they're not using it. But because they're paying for it, they're like, yeah, I go to a gym.
Mm-hmm.
So it tricks themselves into thinking, yeah, you're actually doing
Look at all
something
these
about it.
apps now that you can get on your phone that show you how many subscription services you have. And they're all like, I think I have like 4. And they list them. I was like, you have 20.
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah. Yeah. People don't even know.
Like, I guarantee I'm one of those people that I have apps that I pay for that I don't even use.
Yeah. Well, yeah. How many
Yeah.
people have a gym membership and they go on the treadmill?
Right.
Right.
It's like you could just do that outside.
Yeah, but because it's free, there's something that it doesn't feel as effective about it.
No, I think you're right. I think it's like you feel like you're doing something.
Yeah, it's
By
like I can go to the
paying
store
or-
and get cheaper alcohol, but there's something about going out and getting it that's more
At a
fun to
bar.
me.
Yeah.
It's like I'm
Yeah,
gonna pay triple the amount for that beer, but
That's the
I
social
kind of
aspect,
like
though.
it.
And there's a
That's the part I don't like about it.
there's a shadow over going home and drinking rather than being out with everybody else where everybody's drinking. And
Oh,
I think that's different.
see, I don't get the drinking at home. The shame of that.
I
Like
think
someone
it's
said, they're like,
just-
"Oh, I don't
it's-
drink at home." I'm like, really? I feel like I'm majority. That's all they. But it's big to me. That's like the going out. Like I would shame people more. Like you go out and buy drinks. You're not going with your money.
That's a
Go at home.
that's a frugal thing.
Yeah.
It's like people going out to eat rather than just eating at home.
Yeah. I think that's also growing up in Wisconsin things. Like everyone has alcohol in the house.
Yeah.
You only do it outside of your house. That's weird.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that's it's hard to not think biasly about it because obviously we would not buy a product like that because we wouldn't pay for that. We wouldn't spend that money, but then we would know, yeah, but I could just get some weights or kettlebells at home and it's going to be better. Cause like I get you don't want to go to a gym or you're a parent with young kids and you can only do it in between or at nap time or whatever. So you get these at home products, which I think are awesome. But if you're someone that doesn't know or have the education in fitness, It's like, what am I going to do with a kettlebell? Like if you're just like a mom that like wants to work out and has limited time,
How
the
hard
tonal
is it?
fits to them more than getting kettlebells.
How hard is it to go on Google and just kettlebell workout?
Well,
Kettlebell exercises.
that's the same with new people at the gym. It's like there's hundreds of programs that you could find. Or like I used to like go on Instagram and find a person that like what are they doing in their videos and just kind of play around with it.
A lot of people do that.
So it's like I don't really get the I don't know what to do. Like all the even if you're doing it wrong, there is information to give you something to go in and try
Instagram,
at least look like you know what you're doing. So yeah, I agree. It's like you could find a kettlebell workout. But I don't think that's promoted that way. It's promoted that they're equal.
Yeah. The game thing, I feel like if your intention is to have fun while exercising, that can do it. But like I think when we talked about it on the other episode, my bias or frame is like, you're doing this to be healthy. This isn't going to do it. To where it's like, if you want to get better at golf, you're not going to go to Top Golf and play the games.
Right.
Like the most effective way is probably to go to actual courses and play and put yourself in those situations and whatever. Because especially even when we went to Top Golf and played the games, they're not accurate.
At the screen.
You hit the ball and you're like, oh, I hit that way right. And then it's like, perfect shot.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, what the fuck? No, that wasn't. But it's like, oh, I'll take it. I guess I'm really good at this game. And then you're like, I'm actually a pretty good golfer. And it's like,
yeah, how
let's
was
see you
I
play.
didn't I almost win?
Yeah.
To where it's like, now you're going to have these people that are like, yeah, I'm actually pretty healthy. Like, I've got these scores on these games. And it's like, okay, let's go do like squats and bench press and whatever. And they're dying after 2 sets of it. It's like, yeah, you're not in shape at all. You've been playing this game where all you do is like, shake weight, basically. How
But
much
these
vibration can you get?
These companies are not, you're not their audience, their target audience.
No.
They're looking for somebody that has never worked out or that has just brand new into it, that anything is better than what they were doing.
Yeah.
And they're going to lose 10 pounds and they're going to think they're awesome.
Yeah,
And
and that's
3 months later, they're never going to be seen again.
right. Or it's like they will stay at that same level of health and fitness because that's all that game or whatever can offer.
Yes, and they'll plateau at that 10 pounds.
Yeah. So I think if your intention is, I want to have some fun doing, like, yeah, going and playing volleyball is some form of exercise too, but you're not going to be super healthy by, I just play volleyball. That's my form of exercising. It's like, okay, but I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that you're missing because you're only playing a game or you're only doing this one thing.
Yeah.
That's what I think these games are. If you want to go have fun, great, but you're not going to become a really healthy person because you're playing a game.
Correct.
What do you guys think about Airbnbs that are, I mean, we always joke about like, we want where we live to be like a health oasis, to where it just like we have all of the things set up so that if someone's visiting, it's like you're going to come into a whole different array of healthy lifestyle options just because that's the only thing that we're going to have available. That now Airbnb owners are doing that with their houses, where they're putting a sauna in there, they're putting a cold plunge, they're putting the infrared lights, they're putting like a full gym set in there.
I wonder how much. I feel like that's a
Is it still too
niche.
neat? Yeah.
Yeah.
Very well. Look at Airbnb. They have categories of you can stay in a spaceship, or you can rent a tent in the woods.
Yeah.
I think you're catering to weird. You're catering to unique. I think mostly that's what it is. It's
To where you get as much business as just the regular.
Because you probably have to charge more for those places, potentially.
If you have
You gotta
all of
pay
that
for it.
stuff, yeah.
Because you're also worried about people breaking it.
Well, yeah.
So maybe that's just like a liability thing that you're
And
charging
it's like
for. But
saunas aren't cheap. Cold plunges aren't cheap.
your electric bill. But would you guys pay, like, if we had to go stay at an Airbnb somewhere, or we chose to do that, would that be something that you would look for?
no.
I would weigh how the costs.
Yep, that's me too.
It
I'm
would be
cheap.
based on price.
I'm looking at bedrooms and bathrooms.
If it's comparable or able to be comparable to just a regular place, then maybe, yeah. But it would be fun, but I feel like I wouldn't do it for just like a night or a day. I'd want to do that for a whole week.
Sure. And
I
like
don't want
the
a
almost
night of a sauna and then it's like, okay, we got to get up and go to the next place tomorrow.
I would do it if it was a location where we are enjoying the where we were at. Like if we like went somewhere in the mountains. Where it's like you're not gonna be you're gonna be in the Airbnb and enjoying your outside, not this we're just using this as a place to stay and then we're gonna go out and do
See,
other
that's
activities.
typically the only reason I would look at an Airbnb though is because I'm going there for a purpose, and how much am I actually going to be in the Airbnb?
Yeah, but if the purpose was we're going in some area where there's not a lot of activities, you're just going to enjoy the scenery. Like if we go to Montana, it's like you're going to want to enjoy just kind of around your little property or maybe the property because there's nothing to do there.
I wouldn't be going there.
Oh. Yeah. I think where they could maybe benefit from it is once this starts to become more popular, which I think it is in more higher income health orientated households, that these people that have all these things at their house already, that's like, well, I have to travel or I have to go and do these things, but I don't want to get out of my regular routine. I'm going to find a house that has all the stuff that I have at home. It's like if we did an Airbnb that has our water filter and has cast iron pans and has water filters on the showers and like has the stuff that for us is basic living.
Sure. Yeah.
That
Like,
if I'm going to travel, I want the
I
stuff
would look
that I have
at
at
an
home.
Airbnb just so I can cook my own food
Or that. Yeah.
because I'm not going out to restaurants.
Yeah.
Or I'm not eating at the hotel breakfast.
So now if that was a part of, if these items are a part of your daily routine, I could see people looking for those types of Airbnbs so that they don't have to miss out. It's like we would try to go to the gym on a vacation. We would try to work out. So now add all those things in. If you're there for a week, you'd probably want those things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you're looking at a niche group of people though.
Oh,
know,
for sure.
Like
Yeah.
majority of people don't care about that stuff or want to do that stuff. Or even if you're going somewhere for a vacation, most people are like, I'm on vacation. I'm not working out this week. I'm not worrying about my water
Mhm.
intake or this or that. So I think even just that natural going and doing something, like you're not probably thinking about how do I keep my same routine that I do at home.
Remember
I
when-
would enjoy it,
When we
but
went to Punta Cana, the gym is what sold the resort for me.
I
yeah,
loved going to that gym. That gym, I mean, it was so hot in there,
it was very warm.
Yeah.
but it was cool.
Yeah, it was a cool gym.
It was cool.
Even the one in Jamaica at that
It was
one-
off the beach. That was cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
It was small and crowded.
We had a trainer
they
that
had everything.
messed up my shoulder doing.
Yeah,
He-
that's right.
I was doing chest flies. He was like, "Go lower," and like my form was terrible. I just started working out, messed up my shoulder.
It hurt the
on
rest of the
vacation.
week.
Yeah, I'm like, "Guy, what do you know?" But yeah, I liked the getting up, going to breakfast, or we did worked out before breakfast. We all did it. That was my favorite part of that vacation.
Going
Was
to
the
the gym
workouts?
together.
Was the workouts?
Yeah.
All of us in there together. Yeah, that was cool. Okay, next thing. Whoop the. Do they have rings or is it just the band?
I think it's just the band.
Whoop?
Oh yeah, because Aura is the ring.
Yeah.
The Whoop bands, like those heart rate trackers and
Oh, okay.
sleep trackers and
They're now gonna. I don't know how they are doing this. They're adding into where it will track psychedelics.
I don't know how you do that.
I don't either. But what are your thoughts?
I'm a little,
What are your thoughts on those drugs in general? I guess you too. I don't really know what your.
I don't
stances
think
are.
I'd ever do them, but like I know several people that have done the was it EMDR?
Mhm.
And they
Like with a therapist.
yeah, and they say that helps because it changes the way you look at a traumatic event. I don't know. I guess I've never done any type of psychedelic drug.
Yeah.
Besides my gummies, which I did that a couple times, and that was enough for me. But I don't know. Clinical setting, maybe. I don't know. Part of me is like fearful of like what's going to happen.
I know.
It's like what's going to come out of my brain that I can't put back in there and stuff down there. Because that's what I've done my whole life is just like push it down.
Yeah.
Trying to put the rabbit back in the hat.
Yeah.
That's why I would be scared to even do what's the flotation tank?
Hyperbaric chamber.
Yeah. Like anything where it's like a meditative bring stuff out, or like I just want to call it ashwagandha. The Aaron Rodgers. Ayahuasca. Like where it's bringing the stuff up for you to heal
Process.
it. I'm the same way. I'm like, I would be too scared of what's going to come up. That I'm like, if I don't.
Like in those floating things, those are like a sensory deprivation type thing, aren't they?
Yeah.
See, that would freak me out.
It's like you're floating and it's silent and it's dark.
Yeah.
That
you're
the darkness would give me
You're
more than
cutting
anything.
off all the senses, basically.
That would scare the hell out of me. Like you even go into like a soundproof room, that freaks me out.
Yeah. Not even
Just
what would
not
come up.
hearing
Just
anything?
that alone is scary.
Yeah, like we used to have to get our hearing tested every year, and they would put you in this booth with the headphones on, and thank God they had a window in the door, because just sitting there and those earphones are on, it's just like, oh God, I'm in a closed space in this little booth, and I can't hear anything. Thank God I still have my vision to see outside of this booth.
You're just like praying for those beeps that you can hear it.
Yeah.
It's like, come more beeps. Yeah, I would not do well with that. The closed, not knowing the blackout, I would not do well with that. But yeah, I don't know. I think if you did it with someone, because you're doing it with the therapist that's like kind of almost walking you
Guiding you
through
through,
it,
yeah.
that maybe would be less scary to me. But yeah, what would come up would freak me out.
Or yeah, like what sick shit is in your head that you don't even think about, and now it's like when you go for surgery and you come out of surgery and like you're just saying random shit that makes no sense.
Oh,
It's
I
like,
don't. I know.
that scares the hell out of me. It's like,
What am
don't
I
think
going to
about
say?
anything weird when they're putting you out. Don't think anything weird when they're putting you out. Yeah,
it's like when I came out of foot surgery and all I could talk about was how much carbs were in the muffin that they were making me eat.
Kara's was the best.
No, hers, talk about what trauma would come up. Something like that. She didn't know who we were. And the fear in her face getting in. No.
I told her she was in a coma for 3 years.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
you're 21 now. She's like, what?
Does she remember any of it, or did it wear off and it's like she has no recollection of?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know. I know the first time I ever got put out was when I had my wisdom teeth taken out. I remember Grandma taking me to Hardee's, and I don't know what, maybe a malt or a shake or something like that for my mouth. But I remember and I don't even remember this, but Grandma said I was like talking about the pound puppies. They were giving away pound puppies at the time. This is back when I was in high school. And I was like, oh, look at the cute little pound puppies. And when I had my shoulder surgery, I had to turn in my workman's comp paperwork. Why I decided to do it right after surgery, I'm still whacked out. And then I ended up giving Grandma a tour of the police department.
She's like, I don't care.
Well, and my deputy chief was like, okay, time to get you home now.
Yeah. Yeah, that stuff doesn't freak me out. I'd be fine.
Really?
I don't have like claustrophobia. I don't have the silence stuff. Drugs don't scare me.
And you don't have the like, what's going to come up.
No.
Well, good for you.
Denial.
Good for you.
But that's what I don't like. What is your guys' fear of it? Like that something's gonna come up, but then what?
I think the lack of control of what's going on with you is what scares me a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like riding in the passenger seat of somebody that doesn't know how to drive or is a terrible driver. Is just having no control sitting in the passenger seat.
That's what I feel like in the driver's seat. I would rather someone I'm like, I'm not the best for the job.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's where I think the
I'm
only
like,
way,
you're not gonna die, so what's
because the emotions.
the worry?
What is gonna come up that I have to be faced? Like I have to face it. I have to think about it.
And you think that it would be things that are worse than what you've already had to deal with in life now?
I think there's a reason I push it down, so I don't have to deal with it.
Because at least what people talk about with doing that type of therapy is it like brings. It's like when you look back on the stuff now, it's just memories, and you might have a similar emotion that comes up, but what people talk about is like it's as if you're experiencing it again. It's like the same intensity of the emotion comes up with
Maybe more.
to where it's
you
not
didn't
just
deal with
like,
it.
well, yeah, I'm thinking about it, but like I'm not physically experiencing it. To where it would feel like you're physically experiencing it again.
And you just don't want to feel those feelings again?
No.
Or new ones?
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't worry me at all.
You're so pampered.
I
Cush life.
don't know what would. I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know.
Get an easy breezy childhood.
Yeah.
Only a dad
you know,
dying. That's
yeah,
all that you
just
had.
My dad dying at
Okay.
19. That's fine.
Yeah, so what if there are things that you just haven't dealt with from that?
I guess I see it as like, okay, cool. Now this is giving me the availability to deal with it. Or it's like you're saying, like something coming up that I had no idea about. It's like, that's kind of what I want.
I get it. Yeah.
Like I don't want to have things hidden or
That's the
not
only reason
known.
why I would want to do it, and with someone that like is coaching me through it, is because I do think those are the things that are giving me the gray hair, or if I get cancer, it's going to be from that. It's going to be from the stuff that is pushed down, that will come out. I feel like my belief is your body's like, we're going to do it whether you want to or not. So either you process it and you deal with it, or cancer's coming, or you get gray hair. It's like, this is my body's way of saying you're not dealing with that. So at least with someone where they know how to kind of, it feels more medical. That doesn't scare me as much. I would still be terrified to do it, but I would do that over just do mushrooms. No. That would scare me too much. Because it'd be me regulating it.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I get that.
What about hypnosis? I tried that once at a show in Vegas. Like I actually went up on stage
It's way too
and
scary.
they tried to hypnotize. I could not do it.
Oh yeah.
Well, that too. I don't know if I could disconnect enough.
And the guy was like, "What do you do for a living?" I'm like, "I'm a cop." He's like, "Go sit down." He's like, "You
This
people,
isn't for
you
you.
people can't get hypnotized because you can't let it go.
Disassociate or
Yeah,
whatever.
you can't just relax enough to let yourself go into that state."
Yeah.
And Toby was sitting in the audience going like this the whole time he was
So terrified.
He didn't want to get he didn't want to get hypnotized in the audience.
Secondary hypnotized.
Because you see that sometimes in the audience, someone will.
Yeah,
like,
that's
you're-
exactly what happened.
You're too loose.
Because they brought somebody that when they replaced me on stage, they brought him from the audience.
No, I would never do that. I don't think I'd go
I
to a show.
don't. Again, like the hypnosis thing, it would have to be like a
Controlled
medical thing or whatever.
I'm not
Like
doing
they
it.
do that for like helping people stop smoking and
Yep.
stuff.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't do that at like a Vegas show because I've seen that they did that at
Oh, they make you do funny stuff.
I mean,
Yeah.
talk about
Your
embarrassment.
seat's hot right now. And
yeah. It's
No.
like, I don't want to do that.
I don't want to be the butt of the joke. I mean, that's why I don't like being funny, is because I think people are making fun of me. So then I'm opening myself up to doing it also with no control
Yeah.
of what I would not feel comfortable doing regularly. So like,
Yeah, I
act
don't
like a
like that.
chicken. No.
I thought
I'd be
it'd
off
be fun
stage.
to do it. I did.
He's like, get off stage.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't be into that at all. I would do any of the drugs, probably the psychedelic ones, but I wouldn't do it like, let's do this for fun and like party.
Oh God, no.
It would never be anything like that.
You'd go into it with the purpose of, I want to deal with some stuff.
Not even so much that. I would just go in and like, well, we'll see what happens.
Sure.
Can you go into it with that attitude, or you have to go into it with like, I have these list of things that I want to address?
I think that's the thing is, that's you pre-deciding and you controlling it.
Yeah, I'm just. How does it work? I mean,
I don't think so, because I think it's just like whatever your. I don't know what state it is, but it's like,
doesn't like the person guiding you through this need kind of a roadmap of like, where do we go here?
I think it's probably
I
like
don't know.
we all have the same general themes in trauma. That they're like,
I guarantee
talk
you,
about your parents.
yours aren't like mine.
No, but I'm sure it's like, talk about work. Talk about your childhood. Talk about your siblings. Talk about whatever. And that probably just like spirals into your own, like whatever your subconscious takes with that. I'm sure there's like jump off topics.
I would like to run one of those.
Oh,
Like to be the guide.
no, I wouldn't want that either.
Oh.
That's like being a
That'd be-
therapist. I
that'd be
could
so-
not.
So tell me about your childhood. When you're any
No.
thoughts of loneliness from your parents not loving you?
Yeah, because I think if you go in with a list, like that's already controlling the situation too much to where that's not you bringing up the hidden stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
Can
there might be obvious ones where it's
Can
like,
you imagine the stuff you hear?
Oh yeah,
That's why I'd want to do it.
yeah. I wonder if
I don't
that's
think
where
I
like
would. I'd
the
feel too
psychedelic.
sad.
I wonder if the psychedelic thing, it doesn't really matter what you go into it wanting. It seems like you're in such a altered state that you don't have control over it anyways. That I feel like
Yeah.
the hypnosis thing is where you can be like, I want to quit smoking, and they can help guide you through that. But I think if like you take mushrooms or you take ayahuasca or something, I don't think
You're just along
You're
for the
gone.
ride at this time.
yeah, I don't think it's like, I want to, make more money next year. Here, give me some mushrooms, and I'm gonna figure out a way to do that now through this psychedelic experience. Like, I don't think
I
you
think
even have
it's
control over that.
I think it's more like bigger than that. It's whatever you need to have brought up will get brought up.
It's whatever trauma you have.
Yeah, or like whatever experience you need to think or go into, even if it's positive, you get to like see something cool. It's whatever subconsciously or even deeper on than that, whatever needs to come up.
One
That's
of
what
the
you'll
mind
see.
pump guys did. I think it was Sal did it.
Yeah.
Though, and he's like, for the next week, it was still kind of
Yeah,
going
Yeah,
on.
that's that like EMDR thing.
Yeah.
he was doing.
Oh, I thought it was something else where he was taking something.
no, I
Isn't
think
that
he had.
microdosing with something.
No, he did like one of those sessions
Therapy
with a
sessions.
therapist.
And that's with the light.
No, he did take something. What is it that they?
The EMDR thing, I think, is a light that you look at.
Because it goes like you have to like also tap your fingers because it
Like, isn't
signals both sides of your brain.
Mm.
Medical.
That would be less scary to me because then again,
Something
like you're not
recognition?
taking something.
I don't think I would be able to open up though without taking something.
Yeah,
Well, that's
that's why you need to
part
do
of your
it.
problem.
No, I mean I would have to take a drug to,
Relax
lower my inhibitions. I guess
your
you'd say.
walls.
Yeah, my walls. Yeah.
There's one there where you take a drug. I don't remember what drug. It's some form of LSD, I thought.
You can microdose LSD. There's ketamine.
That's the one I'm thinking of, the ketamine therapy. Where you take ketamine and then you have a therapist like walk you through stuff. I thought that's what the
EMDR, I think it is.
I thought that's what that was, but
EMDR is a psychotherapy technique that helps people. Okay, it's an eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. So you're basically like trying to rewire, which is why there's the left and right.
I went to a training, like a seminar in Milwaukee, where a guy talked about doing that. It was some like stress for first responders or something like that, and
That should be
Yeah.
a part of like a every 5 years. That's like a part, like how you'd have to do training. That should be a part of your training. How crazy would that be?
Since I've retired, they're making people go, I don't know if it's every 6 months, but go talk to a therapist. You don't
Oh,
have
really?
to.
Oh,
They're not making you go, but
Giving
they're
it.
giving you the opportunity to go.
Yeah.
And
They
they're
should do
doing
it more
like,
regular than 6 months.
I don't know what it is. I want to say it's either 6 months or maybe a year. But they also
Recap
do,
your whole year's a cup.
they also do stress debriefings more frequently now. Like I did one stress debriefing my whole career. 32 years I was at one of them.
Yeah.
And that was only because we had an officer involved shooting. And it was run terribly. Like now that I know how to do these stress debriefings, like we actually facilitate them. Oh my God, it was a shit show. Like typically, if you weren't involved in the event, you can't be there. So it's only for people that were involved in the event. And if cops, firefighters, nurses, all were at the same event, only cops do theirs, nurses do theirs.
Because they
firefighters-
all have a different background of
the theory
experience.
is like, if I'm sitting with a bunch of cops, they're all my people, and I'll be more willing to open up. But if I've got a nurse there now it's like they don't understand. Like the one we did, oh God, it was in a small town outside of Janesville. They had like they had a fatality accident. And then like 2 days later, they had a car go off. It was a curve. A car missed the curve, went off into this like salt shed and started on fire. The guy burnt inside the car. They had firefighters there. They had a cop there. And they had a lady who witnessed the accident, just a normal citizen,
No.
be there too. And they were like, it's a small community. We're all family here. Her brother's a firefighter. And so the first thing you do is like, the only part you have to participate in is, what did I see? What was my responsibility? When I got there, what did I do? And this lady's like, I was following this car and I saw a car coming super fast, and all of a sudden, boom, T-bone right in front of me. And both cars go down in the ditch, and she just started bawling. And then she's sitting there listening to these firefighters who, granted, it's a volunteer department, but they see this stuff
All the time.
more frequently.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, that guy was a crispy critter in the car. And, it's like, I was calling for a med flight or a helicopter, and I went up to the car. I'm like, nope, he doesn't need one. He's dead.
Yeah.
And so she's sitting here listening to all this stuff. And then she gets up and just walks out.
Yeah.
And as a facilitator, you can't just like let him go because you don't know. So you have to follow him out. And I had just been to this training like 3 days before. So that's my very first one. So I go outside with her. I have no notes. And she just like starts crying. And I'm just like, this is normal behavior. And, I'm just trying to make it seem normal. It's like this. And here's things that you should watch out for. Don't go on Facebook to read about these things. And,
Well, because you're taking a civilian.
Yeah.
Maybe this is her only accident, but like an accident resulting in death in front of her to people that are doing it on a weekly basis. To where the way that they process it is by talking about it so general.
You have to have a sixth sense of humor in that career.
Yeah, because otherwise it'll crush you. To a regular person, it's supposed to crush you.
Correct.
Like you're probably supposed to have two different ways of processing it so that you are able to function in society appropriately. It's like, so now she hears this and it's like, they're making it seem like it's just whatever, even though that's altered her.
I remember when I was 19, I was down in Indiana for the summer, and me and my friend were going to a wedding reception out in the country. And there was a car in front of us who went over like a railroad crossing. It was like a hill, was going way too fast, probably drinking. And all of a sudden we just see smoke coming up. And what had happened was he went over too fast, got a little airborne, came down, started hit another car head on. And me and my friend get up to the cars. We're like, holy shit, this is a bad accident. Go up to the car that this kid was in, who later turns out it was the brother of the bride. And he was in the same car that we were driving in, my Chevette. His face was almost his head was almost touching the passenger side floor. and there was a little coin tray in between, like where you shift, full of blood. And I went to touch him, and I was like, nope, nope, nope. We go up to the other car because my friend went to a farmhouse like halfway down the road to call for help. I go up to the other car, and this girl, the driver, slumped over the steering wheel. Like the steering wheel's like bent over, so she's like on the steering wheel. Her sister was like, like almost like a death gurgle. She starts coming to, and she wants to get out of the car, and it's her and her sister are in the car. She wants to get out. I'm like, stay here, and I couldn't open the door anyways. And then my friend gets back, and she's like, I know you. I'm like, bitch, you don't know me. I don't live here.
Yeah.
I'm scared shitless.
Yeah.
And she's like, I know both of you.
You're like, I didn't do anything.
Yeah. She's like, oh my God, I saw this in a dream. And I was like, oh. So to me, that was, my reaction was like, holy shit, this is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. Looking back on it now, it's like, oh, it's a car accident. Fatality car accident.
Oh my.
But going back to what that lady was going through, this was traumatic for her. You know,
Oh,
it's like
yeah.
probably the worst thing, one of the worst things she's ever seen in the world is a dead person that just died.
Yeah.
And you're like, it's Tuesday.
Right. Like, what's next?
Yeah.
Then you got to go on to the next call of someone complaining about their neighbor.
Yeah.
Right after that. Oh my God.
This is why you need to do ayahuasca
I don't know.
or a mushroom.
Or nicotine. And vodka.
Yeah, at least this is like you don't have to take something, so that would scare me less. To where it's
Probably
like
not
you
as
could stop
effective.
it.
I bet it's not as effective. I think you're right.
You bet it's not as effective?
Probably not.
Because your consciousness is still there.
Yeah.
And you're
still,
controlling.
yeah. Putting up barriers.
But maybe that's a...
Because maybe I just won't tell them about something because I don't want to bring it up.
Like that probably takes a lot longer too. Because you're breaking down barriers and walls and stuff, just like going to a therapist would be.
1 to 2 times per week for a total of 6 to 12 sessions. There's 8 phases of EMDR. Maybe this is like sticking your foot in. Like, okay, I'll kind of...
Just jump in the pool.
What if it changes you forever, though?
It will. That's the point
That's
of
the
it.
point.
I know. Yeah, true. That would be risky. Doing that, like say in our situation, like if it changed you so much that then you're like, I can't be with that person.
Yeah, I feel like you would have to already kind of feel that way.
I agree.
I don't think so. Because say
I
if I
don't
did
know.
it, what if whatever came up or healed, like you were in alignment with me when I like had all this baggage, to where when I get rid of that,
Well,
I'm
then,
like,
I mean, then you are progressing in life and you're moving on to things that are
better. Yeah.
better.
Yeah, true. All positives, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. I guess it's like, well, I'll stay unhealthy because
Yeah,
then it makes
exactly.
us more
You just
equal.
wasted your money then.
Because I know my McDonald's order, and I know this at home, and I know that I don't exercise. That's all good for me because this is what I'm comfortable with. It literally is just that. It's embracing in the uncomfortability of a new situation or life.
Sure.
I think that's where, like, going to the health stuff, the people probably have more. My guess would be the number one reason why people can't get healthy is because of the emotional connection or shit that they're dealing with whatever else. It's not because they don't know the information. It's not because they don't know what to do or how to do it or whatever. That stuff is so easily figure outable. It's that there's something emotional that they do not want to deal with, get past, solve, and move on.
Sure.
Because it's the comfortability. They know, this form of life. So anything different than that, it's like moving. You don't want to move because I know all my shit here. I know the grocery stores, the gas stations, my house, the people, the community. To where you move somewhere, it's completely different now. But then It's like we've moved a bunch. You just get used to that situation, and that becomes normal, and now you're in there.
Well, and that's why we move.
Yeah, maybe.
So we're trying to change something by the moving. And then you realize, oh,
Well, yeah.
I move everywhere.
And that's probably where like people that mostly do the psychedelic stuff, they probably are wanting to change or something to change.
Sure.
I don't think people that are going into it are a lot of the time just like, I hope I stay exactly the same and I go into doing this. It's like, no, you're probably wanting something to change and alter.
Or, yeah. Yeah.
You want to get out of your comfort zone a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you realize you're not the same person, or this life event or life events
Or holding you
has
back
changed
from.
you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, especially the therapy driven ones. It's like you're paying for it. You're not just going like, it might be fun. The
Yeah.
drugs, you could go, well, I'm just going to experience something or see something cool. To where I think, yeah, it's like, no, I'm not going to go in and knowingly bring up shit for a fun
Yeah.
experience.
How many of these are legal in the United States? The EMDR one, obviously.
Yeah.
Is the ketamine one?
Ketamine therapy is.
think it is.
What's the one that Rogan talks about that you have to go to Mexico for?
How do you even spell that?
Well,
Can't think of what it's called.
yeah, I don't know.
The one that he always pushes, like, veterans should all be doing this.
I thought that was the ketamine one.
I thought it was initials.
Yeah, I don't know.
MDMA.
Yeah. That sounds
In
right.
Australia, MDMA is legal for prescription use to treat PTSD and treat resistant depression.
MDMA is a it's like, well, it's
MDMA.
MDMA. Yeah, it's a party drug. They used to use it at raves a lot.
I think that's
LSD as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a form of LSD.
In Canada, LSD is legal but for medical purposes. Psilocybin in Colorado.
Those are mushrooms, right?
Yeah. Mescaline in Canada. Ketamine. But that's weird. It says only in Canada, but I feel like they have them in the U.S. now. And DMT.
That's what it is.
I think DMT is also LSD.
Because isn't DMT also released in your own body?
Yeah.
Can't you like produce it?
I think it's
so,
naturally occurring in your body.
Yeah, because that's what Rogan's argument is that it's naturally produced in your body.
Yeah.
Because I think you can force it with like breathing techniques.
Oh. Next family trip.
No.
Oh my
Definitely
God.
can't do it together.
We'll just
Yeah,
swap
I know.
plasma like the Johnsons. Go on a photo shoot series in our
All lay
wife
in the
beaters.
sand with our wife beaters
Yeah.
on, barefoot.
That was all the topics. Oh no, what were our fitness predictions for the next year? What do we think is going to change, if anything?
Nothing will change.
Same.
What do we
Well-
think will change, or what do we want to change?
Think will change. Want will changes. Well, I guess you could do what would you want to change?
I think, and again, it might be the stuff that just we're watching, but it seems like all of the things we're watching is talking about it now, that I think things are getting more scientific with fitness and health, that I wonder if we'll have this kind of opposite end type of thing, like the primal stuff will come back. Like, you don't need to get tested, you don't need to do this, like just go for walks outside and just lift some weights and eat greens. Like, you'll have this reverse kind of thing. It seems like it always pendulum swings. That's like we get super scientific and then we get super like, what did the cavemen do? Just
Yeah.
do that. That's
what
my
phase
prediction.
do you think we're in now?
I think we're in scientific phase.
Oh, I don't think so.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
we're
we're gonna
also
go to-
coming out of the caveman though, because like breath work started to get in the mix a lot more, and grounding, and like just getting outside, exposure to sunlight, getting more like talking about what styles of farming that we're doing, and getting more.
I think that's where
Earthy?
you're at individually.
But
Like-
I agree that it's still, we're doing it because of the science that we're learning about it, potentially.
I think the
Two.
science is in its infancy.
But like, are you saying sciencey as in we're understanding the mechanics of these of the health?
Well, I think it's just like even the comedy podcasts that we watch, they will bring up health and fitness stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, did you hear about like nicotine's good for you, and like here's a study about it, and blah blah blah. Like people are just more. It seems like people are more talking about studies and that sort of stuff, and it's not just like,
I heard walking's good for you.
yeah, like you should have, a couple eggs. Somebody said so.
Sure.
I think that's always been there, though. It's just been flip-flopping as to what's good and what's bad.
That's my prediction. Is the attention is, in my opinion, more unscientific. That the attention will go back to what's the breathing and walking barefoot, and what did the cavemen do? Like people are gonna just go outside and like, do you know that lifting rocks is really good for you because there's minerals in the rocks and you touching them, and it's like gonna be all that weird shit. It's gonna be less scientific based.
And more just, what's that word? Like your experience.
Not anecdotal.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, not that. Just more like
Back to the basics.
back to the basics. Like, yeah, just go for walks and like do your farm work and stuff. Everybody go buy and own a farm and just work on the farm. That'll keep you healthy.
So we were talking about this the other day about the whole RFK coming in. Do you think that has, what you're talking about there has something to do with, we don't trust Big Pharma. We don't trust the FDA. I'm going to go back to just what cavemen did, basic stuff, instead of worrying about what's the latest and greatest supplement. Or eggs
yeah.
are good for you, eggs are bad for you.
Because even that,
Seed oils are terrible for you.
the studies, now it's like, well, who funded them?
Yeah.
And who
We
wrote the
have-
research? And who's even doing the research? And what is their...
Right, the
kinda like,
lack of trust.
there's always a scheme to where there's no scheme to, I get my chickens from my chicken in the backyard.
Right.
There's
Yeah.
no one trying to...
But for the most, I guess, the population in general, that's not feasible. Or it's not, maybe not feasible, but not something you're going to do, is go raise chickens in your backyard. That's
No.
such a
no.
small...
Oh, right.
I think people will talk about it though. It's like when Yellowstone came out, and it's like everybody's a cowboy now. There's gonna be this influence of like people are gonna move to Montana, or people are now gonna buy a 2-acre plot, and then they're gonna have some chickens in the backyard, and they'll be like, yeah, we're like farm people now because they have 4 chickens that lay them eggs.
I think it's like anything else. It's like fitness. Yeah, it sounds great, but I got to do it then. And I'm not going to do that. Like,
Yeah.
For me, would it be easy to go to a farm and buy cage-free eggs? Sure. But it's way easier to go to Walmart and just get a box and take it home.
Yeah. I do think it influences more people to do it than there would anyways, though. Like, no, majority of people are not going to do that. But does it get it on people's radar just more than normal? Like, during COVID, the uptick in people doing sourdough. It's like,
Yeah.
it was all over Instagram. Every mom that I was talking to was now doing sourdough. To where now it's like, okay, well, now more people are doing that, getting eggs from farms nearby, or getting honey, or getting stuff off of Etsy that it's more farm raised, that you're not just going to the grocery store and getting, that they're focusing on it. There's still, majority of people are not going to do it. This is a niche group of people. But because it's the fad,
I don't even
It's
think
like-
it's a fad.
more people moving to Texas. Like,
Mhm.
is it because you can get, it's what it was in. Moving to Texas was the cool thing to do. So
I think
people
it's
are
all
doing that.
what lane you're in. Like, who do you follow? What is your algorithm showing you more of? And now it's like, oh, that's really popular.
Well,
That's
but
what I think
look
is-
at the people that are popular and what is even like the fact that someone like Huberman is even being talked about regularly in our comedy podcasts, or
Yeah.
someone like Peter Attia, or someone like
How many people
Modern
know
Wisdom.
these people, though, generally? You
I think
walk
a
down the
lot.
street, ask 100 people if they knew who Huberman was, I bet you 20 of them would say yeah.
that's still
That's
mean-
still a lot, but I get what you're saying. I think we think it's more widespread than you think it's
Yes.
more widespread, because like we were saying, like what we watch, even just comedy podcasts, or people that you're like, there's no way they would know of this person, but then they're referencing them in the podcast. I think more general people know of the raw milk thing. Like that came and went in 2 seconds, but there was such a wide variety of people that were talking about it. It wasn't just the Hubermans and the health people. It was like random people that have nothing to do with health, and they're like, yeah, I do raw milk now because somebody said it was good.
to where I think it also depends
It's
on
like-
maybe age gap, because that's I think why RFK did so well was because of what I'm talking about, or what we're talking about, the podcast stuff. Like,
Well, he did drop out.
but I know, but the fact that he got as far and as now somewhat in the mix, it's like that. I think that influenced a lot of our generation to even pay attention to that election period, to vote, to be aware of what we're needing to focus on. It's like, and because he went on podcasts that we know.
Well, yeah, they were saying, did Joe Rogan get Trump elected?
Yeah, from a podcast, it's like, yeah, these people might not be household names, but I don't think you have household names anymore. There's too many people. You don't have like, well, everyone knows these 20 actors because that's the only people that are people watching. It's like everyone's watching the same thing. There's so much content out there that there's niche groups, but those niche groups still have millions of people in them.
Well, and the internet's like the NFL. It's a copycat league. So if one person's talking about raw milk, now all of a sudden it spreads like wildfire and everybody's talking about it.
Yes.
One person talks about Haktua, everybody starts talking about it. So it's like these things that pop up all of a sudden, like the sourdough thing, it all spreads like wildfire. But to your point, it all dies out super fast too.
Because our attention span is move on to the next thing.
Right. That's where I don't like what's going to be popular in the next year. It'll probably only be that year.
There's going to be 20 things that are going to be
Yeah.
popular.
It's not going to last a long time.
Like, I was just thinking about this the other day. Remember a couple weeks ago, well, maybe before Christmas, it was all these drones flying around New Jersey, and what's going to happen? It's not on the news anymore. You don't hear anything about it now. It's just like all of a sudden it just went away, and now everybody's like, oh, what drones?
Yep.
Yeah.
Because
Well-
it's not right in your face, and
They say
it's
like
been a week.
3 days is what you get out of a news cycle.
And if
Yeah.
you don't watch the news, like the drones were kind of talked about
Oh yeah, I mean
on
yeah.
podcasts, but like barely. So
Yeah.
it's like if you don't watch the news, you're also getting it's like you listen to Rogan. It's like, yeah, they're talking about the drones, but they're going into weird alien land. And like, what simulation is this in? That's like, no, they're not going to talk about Huberman on the news. Maybe they would, but it's also, I think,
It's what you're interested in.
it's where you're getting your information.
If some of these comedian guys were talking about McDonald's diet, would you be listening to them as much? Or would you remember that as much? As if they brought up the raw milk or they brought up Huberman and talked about him. And I mean, if Joe Rogan had Bach or UFC guys on all the time, I wouldn't watch it because that's not something I'm interested in.
Yeah.
When
And
he's got
maybe
the
it's-
weird people on, or that stuff's interesting to me.
Yeah.
But I don't watch the ones where the UFC guys are on or the comedian guys are on.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's not so much that people talk about it so much, but all these things get mentioned. Like
So it's like
it's a
put in your subconscious.
yeah, it's like a 10, 20 second. Did you see like people are really into sourdough now, and then it moves on. And
Yeah,
they're
because
talking
when
about
you
something
said that
else.
about the sourdough thing, I'm like, I didn't know that was a thing during COVID.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's like what seeds are planted. Like the fact that I don't know.
Well,
I
it's
think it is. Like
we don't listen to a whole bunch of ayahuasca podcasts or MDMA podcasts, but they're mentioned on things, and then we just hear it. So now it's like we know an acronym, even though we have no idea what it even is. And then it just, everybody now talks about it. And you have this little tiny thing of like, I've heard that before. So now it's, you think you
So
kind
how
of
much
know.
influence does Joe Rogan have over podcasts in general? Like he's got comedians on. He's got your UFC people on. He's got maybe not politicians, but your ex-governmental
Mm-hmm.
agency people. He's got businessmen on like Elon and all these. How much do other podcasters watch Rogan and be like, oh, that's kind of a cool thing. Let's talk about that. Like
Oh,
we're
yeah.
doing right
Probably a
now.
lot.
Yeah.
Probably a lot.
We're doing it right now.
Yeah.
Well, it's
a
like
lot.
our news is not the news. Like we hear everything through podcasts.
Yeah, see, and I haven't watched the news since we left Janesville.
It's
It-
on every day. What are you talking about?
I mean, like that's local news.
But you're
But,
yeah,
like-
I agree.
So,
I
like the
understand.
other day, they had that thing in New Orleans on New Year's Eve. I haven't heard anything about it since that day,
Sure.
Yeah.
and that is basically my life right now. Is what we teach about.
Yeah.
If I was at home, yeah, I'd be all over it.
Right. Yeah, I think it's also a generational thing. Like the news, and we've said this so many times, but like the news projected to our generation is they're lying to you, they're selling something to you, there's a scheme. So we're not going to watch the news because that's the lie. We're going to watch podcasts where they don't have any affiliation with it. So it's like they're just talking about it because of it's current events. It's people that they know maybe have been involved in it, or they are somewhat in that circle, so they have different information to bring to the table. But that there's not a push to watch those things or watch the news for our generation because
You don't trust it.
no.
But then even podcasts now, it's like it's the same sort
Somebody's
of thing
opinion.
happening. Like there's people that are just out for clicks or out for views or just saying the current event stuff and having a dramatic point about it. That
And
it's just
their
it's the same thing.
their opinion on
recreated.
the topic.
Right.
Oh, your little battery thing just came on, Courtney, on your phone.
We're
It could
probably
be
close to
opinion. I also think a lot of people are just trying to get views. They don't have opinions. They just are, what's the algorithm and how do I get people to view it?
Yeah.
There's a lot of those people. But then it's like you're watching, I think at least with podcasts, you're hearing people's opinions and how they actually feel about stuff, and you're hearing them talk about it in a non-PC way, which I think is more normal. To where with the news, it's like
They're a business.
they're a business and
Who pays the bills?
who pays the bills? They're told not to say certain things or talk about things a certain way, not have an opinion. You're just directing the news. But then, depending on what news organization you're working for, you also have to have this sort of slant at everything. So it's just like, it seems less and less realistic and more fake, to where the podcast is like, oh, this is actually a person who has full thoughts and ideas. And I don't agree with what they're saying about this, but at least they're not biased towards whatever network they're working for.
See, I think I still would steer away from things that I don't agree with. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
if The View had a podcast, I'm not watching that.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not watching the purple-haired
Yeah.
person.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I mean, there'll be even just guests on podcasts we already watch, and I'm like, I don't really like this person and whatever, so I won't watch that episode.
Yeah, or
Well,
it
that's
doesn't.
true.
I don't have that view, or it doesn't interest me.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
watch hockey podcasts because I don't know anything about hockey.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. We are still watching podcasts that are catering to our type of person. It's like there are plenty like maybe girls that we work with. It's like they're not watching Rogan. There's millions of people that watch Rogan, but those girls are not one of them. They're watching girly podcasts.
Yeah, and I'm not watching that.
And I'm not even 7 foot in that arena.
No.
Right.
So it's
Well,
also like
You guys, for perfect example, you guys are watching more of the health and fitness of, like not just like, here's my workout, here's how swole I can get, but it's like diving into the biomarkers
Sure.
and the in-depth stuff of health, where other people, it's like this is over my head. Huberman, I can't watch him because he's just over my head.
Too
with
much,
stuff.
yeah.
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 Does he have guests on that I would watch because he's going to talk about, things that interest me? Sure. So it's no different than I watch Fox News, I watch CNN, I watch MSNBC because those are views that are interesting to me.
Yeah.
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 And like you said, the internet is so big and YouTube's so big in mass that there is something for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's whole camps of that.
Right.
That's like all of the comedians that we listen to, they're all kind of in the same wheelhouse. All of the, like, the Huberman type of people, they all are almost like in their own circle as well. That sometimes you'll get like very contrasting opinions, but a lot of the time, even the fitness stuff, they all kind of believe the same thing. We're not really listening to like, this person believes in you should only run and never lift weights, and then we're also listening to people that should only
Yeah.
lift weights. Like, we're kind of in the same.
Well, and in my opinion, is like those people are the most popular because they don't have the super strong opinion about the one thing. They're not like, you have to lift weights and that's the only thing you should ever do. Don't even think about anything else. It's like, well, the data suggests this, but this is also helpful and whatever. It's very just like fluid and open-ended kind of. I think that's why
But
Huberman's huge.
Yeah, but
and-
you don't listen to the people that say deadlifts and squats. Because
right.
there are those people out there too.
And I think
this is the only way.
Yeah.
I think that those people aren't that big because of that.
Because you're just limiting your audience even more.
Well, they're limiting their audience, but I think people are pretty good at detecting like, this seems
The
weird.
bullshit meter.
Yeah, it's like they're not being the bullshit meter. Because you watch Huberman, it's like, this is the data, this is what it says, this is what I suggest, but maybe it doesn't work for you, and that's okay. Maybe you need to do something else. And people are like, oh, that seems reasonable. To where the guy that's like, if you're not deadlifting, you're a fucking loser. And it's like, well, where do I go with that?
Right.
That's not reasonable. That's just psychotic.
Yeah. But then you look at like, what was the supplement thing or the doctor? The doctor's doing commercials. It was like the guy trying to sell the fitness program and he wasn't even the owner of it.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah, you guys do.
the
He was like on all the infomercials and
like the shreds guy, something kind of like that.
yeah. Is that what it was with Shreds?
V-Shred?
V-Shred. That's what it is.
I don't know this guy. I've seen him, but I don't know what
He's
the
just
story
like an
is.
actor. He has nothing to do with he came out like, this is my program, this is my way of life, or this is my
Like, he
business.
basically sold it like, I wrote these programs because of my background in fitness.
And he's just like the
A
face
model.
of the thing. He has nothing to do with. And now who's
Weird.
the doctor that had his own like sex show on MTV?
Oh, Dr. Drew?
Dr. Drew. He's like a spokesperson for the company now.
It's the guy that on all the YouTube ads.
Yeah, I know his name. I didn't know like this story about it. That
Yeah,
he wasn't
He was
part
a
of it.
fraud.
Is Dr. Drew, because those look very altered and doctored.
Almost like they stole his.
Because that happens with Rogan a lot, where people will take Rogan's
Oh, yeah,
things
yeah.
and put them in their ads, like he's promoting them, and it's
Maybe
like,
that's what
not
it
even
is then.
They're basically like AIing his voice to like taking clips of all these things and putting
Well,
it
I know
together.
the original V-Shred guy came out to be a fraud. Like, it's some guy that owns the company, but maybe he's fat, maybe he's ugly. I don't know, but
Yeah.
doesn't have a face for
Ugly, that's
TV or
the-
doesn't have an infomercial face. I don't know what it is. But,
Yeah. I mean, the ugly guy's not going to sell as much.
right.
It's just the facts.
Yes, they just got like a actor, like
Yeah.
a model.
Right.
Wow.
But yeah, I agree. I think the Dr. Drew thing seems weird. Because like when he talks about fitness, he's not talking about anything like that.
No, he comes out and is like, this is what 5 pounds of fat looks like. This is what 5 pounds of muscle looks like. And then I just scroll on by
Yeah.
because I'm just like,
Yeah. Because I've seen those where he's in it, and I remember thinking, like, this doesn't seem like it's Like there's like a voice thing going on, or there's like a visual thing that's weird with it. Like it didn't seem exactly right. It seemed like the Joe Rogan ones.
Yeah.
Where it's like Joe Rogan's now promoting some weird thing, and it's like, wait, he's not promoting that. And then Rogan's talking about it of like, yeah, I don't promote those things, and they're popping up everywhere.
How freak would that be for you to see yourself in an ad that you have no affiliation with the company?
I don't know how there's not like laws already.
How do
against
you
that.
not? How are you able to legally do that? Use someone's likeness for your promotion when they don't, especially when it's something like that where they're using AI to make it sound like they're talking
They
about
do
the
it
company.
in political campaigns for the last 3 years. They've done it.
Yeah, it seems
Take
like
little
just does
snippets
not-
of what they're saying and make it sound like something else in their political ads.
Yeah, that just does not seem legal
yeah.
at all. At least with that, I mean, it's not though, because it's not what they said. They're like cutting things together to make it sound like they said that, so that's not even
Right.
real either. Yeah, I do not know
I think
how that's legal.
it seemed like the political things, they're doing it to slander that person. The other ones, it's like you're using this person's likeness to sell more product.
Right.
That seems super illegal.
Well, it's
I
like
think
you
they
can't
both
even
do
put
it.
someone's music in your movie without having to pay for it.
Yeah, but now
So
you can
why
have,
can you use their full face and voice
yeah.
and not pay them for it?
Well, that's like the Brian Johnson documentary where your mom's house clips are popping up. It's like
Are they paying them for that?
you would think he'd have to get licensing to be able to put that on.
Right.
Or even like like you'd have to get permission.
Right. Which I think it should be that way.
Right.
But
Who knows?
that's weird.
Maybe you did.
Yeah, maybe you did. But the like using Rogan as a
Yeah.
there's no way that's he would do that. He said he wouldn't do that.
Which I think is funny if they did get permission from your mom's house, because it's all like them slamming him. Like, can we use your videos of you talking shit about me?
Which there's totally their brand. They're like, yeah, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like we'll send you the things we said the worst about you.
We were at an hour 30.
All right.
Everyone feel no more topics?
I'm good.
See you next time.